Hey everyone, welcome back. What I thought we could do is look at this bottom right hand corner thing that, if you remember, currently looks like this. The big red box with the lorem ipsum in it. And I thought it's a good excuse to talk to you about CSS3, which introduced some cool things called the border radius. And that means you can have these cool little rounded corners and things like that, which again can make the whole box look more interesting, appealing, make it fit in. You can still leave a sharp edge if you want, but that's all kind of part of this. So the way to do it, and again, I won't go into too much detail around it, but if you remember, we've got that whole inspect element tool, and the reason I like it is because we can go here and mess around with some colors. So I could color pick, the background color there, which gives me a starting point, make it a little bit brighter, or make it a little bit more orangey, and then make it brighter. So it just gives us some options around kind of just tweaking colors. And then you have the hex code here, which you can copy into Dreamweaver. So there's some cool things in here, which obviously I like. Another thing that I wanted to kind of just add in here is this border radius, right? So the border radius, again, you can read all about it over there, but the way it works is it's got a single value, for example, so we could say 20 pixels, and then all of these will have a radius based on 20 pixels. We can change this to whatever we want, but one thing that you'll notice is that the text is now kind of flowing out of the page, so I need to add some padding. Let's just add some padding for 20 pixels. Now the whole box is bigger because of the padding, and then the border radius happens outside of that. So I'm just going to reduce the size of the box. So what's 300 minus 20 minus 20? I think that's 260. And do the same here, which is 160. Okay, so that should still be the same size box, but the lorem ipsum is now inside. If you wanted to change the color of the lorem ipsum, you can change that to white. If you want to change the font weight, we can up that to 700. Like, you can do whatever you like here. We can even set an opacity on this to maybe 70%, maybe 80%. Let's see how that looks on the page here. Yeah, it's probably too faded, but you get the idea. Like, there's lots of little things that you've learned because we've done it on the buttons, we've done it on the text, that you can mess around with. So if you don't like the opacity, bring it back. The one thing to keep in mind though is that the border radius also gives you the ability to have these variations on the corners. And the way it does that is that the 20 pixels here is basically copied into every single one of those corners. If, however, I decide that I want to have 0 pixels on one of the corners, the top right and the bottom left here will be zeroed out. So they'll have these sharp edges again. Now I could set those to be 10, set these to be 50, and you get that little shape. If you keep going with this, and let's just zero out the next one, the bottom right will then get zeroed out. And then if you do keep going with it again, the bottom left will get zeroed out. So top left, top right, bottom bottom right, and bottom left. And that's kind of the idea, that you can mess around with each one of these individually. So if we did want to specifically have a 50 by 50 and maybe a 10 by 10, you can achieve that. If you wanted to have a 50, 50, 10 and 50, we can achieve that too. And so that'll give you a specific kind of look to that. You'll need more padding if you do that, because that text alignment's just not going to work with that. But if I just reduce that back down to 20, it should look nice again. No, not really. Let's just do 30. I'm just gonna have to put the padding in, aren't I? Just gonna have to do that. Gonna do it. Sorry. Okay. The box is bigger now, but what's the math gonna do to me? It'll be like 20 off and 20 off. Anyway, you get the idea. So the bit of fun that you can have with this is that you can kind of create this inside of the browser, make your decisions here, and then you'll have the code that you can then copy and paste back into your Dreamweaver file, which will just be these lines. Actually, let's grab the color as well, and then we need to change and adjust the width. So we might as well do that quickly in Dreamweaver. Bear with me while it opens. But they're definitely kind of the cool things that you can do. And again, you can do that anywhere. You don't need Dreamweaver just to mess around and come up with these ideas. You only need Dreamweaver when you're actually ready to kind of put it into your file. Or if you remember, I think I showed Sublime Text. You could use one of those other tools to do your edits to your HTML as well, and they're perfectly valid as well. So just yeah, have a look, see if any of them jump out at you, and do the job for you. Alright, so in Dreamweaver, we actually have this in our style CSS. There's the content. So we need to change this to the values that we had here. Let's have a look. So what we had, might cheat and just do this. So what we had is 240 and 140, and where's that color? Hash C2AD58. I could copy that, but I didn't. And then we have all these new things, right? So you can see that even in here you can type in border radius, that one, and you will be able to kind of, it'll help predictively give you like ideas that, okay, the first value is going to be top left, the next one's going to be top right. So it's a little bit friendlier in terms of what you're doing, and it gives you a little preview of the values that you're actually putting in. So I could stop now because I know that the border bottom left is going to be 40 by default, but I'm just going to continue so that you have the same thing as we looked at before. Then you can look at the padding. I'll just put 30 pixels on that. Same with the padding. Padding you could change top, right, bottom, left, same way as we were doing this. So you could just say there's not going to be any padding on the right and the bottom, but there's going to be padding on the top and the left. So that would just push it down, but it would go all the way to the edge at the bottom. And the shorthand version for that is this, which kind of makes the padding around the whole thing the same. What else did I change? Okay, so color, so this is a text color, and then font weight, which we set to 700. Which I don't even remember if we have. Yes, we do. Yeah, we do have it. So that's why it works. And then when you save that, your result should be that any page you go to here will now have that new, nicer box in the bottom. And that's it. I mean, go explore on the W3 schools about CSS borders, what else you can do with them. Decide how you want it to actually appear and what you want it to do. But it's an option, and it makes some stuff look a little bit more organic, a little bit more fun. So I'd definitely recommend you check it out and have a play with it. Alright, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you guys on the next one.